Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am VC Pramod and with me is Reshma Tiwari with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveils various development projects worth 20,000 crore rupees in Jammu and Kashmir. Says these projects give new impetus to economic growth and job opportunities for the youth. Palli village in Sambha district becomes first carbon neutral panchayat in the country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi expresses satisfaction over the growth of digital payments in India. Addressing his Mann Ki Baat program, Prime Minister says UPI rapidly becomes part of the country's economy. Prime Minister emphasizes on water conservation, says availability or scarcity of water determines the progress and speed of any country. Mr. Modi mentions India is moving forward with resolve to conserve water in Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Informs 75 Amrit Sarovars to be built in every district of the country. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar holds talks with his Argentinian counterpart Santiago Cafiero in New Delhi. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin to visit Ukrainian capital Kyiv today. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu to inaugurate Khelo India University Games in Bengaluru this evening, and in IPL cricket, Mumbai Indians to take on Lucknow Super Giants at Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today inaugurated and laid foundation stone of multiple development initiatives worth over rupees 20,000 crores to speed up the development in Jammu and Kashmir. Addressing all the Gram Sabhas across the country at Palli Panchayat in Sambha district, Prime Minister said these projects will enhance Jammu and Kashmir's development.
आज यहाँ कनेक्टिविटी और बिजली से जुड़े 20,000 करोड़ रुपए, यह आंकड़ा जम्मू कश्मीर जैसे छोटे राज्य के लिए बहुत बड़ा आंकड़ा। 20,000 करोड़ रुपए के प्रोजेक्ट का लोकार्पण और शिलान्यास हुआ। जम्मू कश्मीर के विकास को नई रफ्तार देने के लिए राज्य में तेजी से काम चल रहा है। इन प्रयासों से बहुत बड़ी संख्या में जम्मू कश्मीर के नौजवानों को रोजगार मिलेगा। साथियों, आज अनेक परिवारों को गांवों में उनके घर के प्रॉपर्टी कार्ड भी मिले हैं। ये स्वामित्व कार्ड गांवों में नई संभावनाओं को प्रेरित करेंगे। आज 100 जन औषधि केंद्र जम्मू कश्मीर के गरीब और मिडिल क्लास को सस्ती दवाएं, सस्ता सर्जिकल सामान देने का माध्यम बनेंगे।
He said it's a symbol of change that Panchayati Raj Divas is being celebrated in Kashmir today. Prime Minister said it is a matter of great pride that when democracy has reached grassroots in Jammu and Kashmir.
3 साल पहले यहाँ के जिलों के हाथ में पूरे राज्य में 5,000 करोड़ रुपया ही उनके नसीब होता था और उसमें लेह लद्दाख सब आ जाता था। लेकिन पिछले 2 साल में जो गति आई है, इस बार बजट में जिलों के पास 22,000 करोड़ रुपए सीधे सीधे पंचायतों के पास विकास के लिए दिए जा रहे हैं। इतने छोटे राज्य में ग्रास रूट लेवल की डेमोक्रेटिक सिस्टम के द्वारा विकास के काम के लिए कहां 5,000 करोड़ और कहां 22,000 करोड़ रुपए ये काम हुआ है भाइयों।
The Prime Minister said all the schemes of the central governments are being implemented in the valley. People are using the schemes to their benefits. Earlier, Prime Minister laid the foundation stone of the Delhi-Amritsar-Katra Expressway and inaugurated the 500 kilowatt solar power plant at Palli village along with 108 Jan Aushadhi Kendras in Sambha. He also inaugurated the Banihal-Kazigund road tunnel built at a cost of over rupees 3,100 crores. The 8.45 kilometer long tunnel will reduce the road distance between Banihal and Kazigund by 16 kilometers and reduce journey time by around 1.5 hours. Prime Minister also laid the foundation stones for the 850 megawatt Rethal hydroelectric project and 540 megawatt Kwar hydroelectric project to be constructed on the Chenab River in Kishtwar district. Congratulating the people of Jammu and Kashmir, Prime Minister said Palli is on the way to becoming India's first carbon-neutral panchayat.
ग्लासगो में दुनिया के बड़े बड़े दिग्गज इकट्ठे हुए थे। कार्बन न्यूट्रल को लेकर के बहुत सारे भाषण हुए, बहुत सारे बयान हुए, बहुत सारी घोषणाएं हुई, लेकिन ये हिंदुस्तान है जो ग्लासगो के संकल्प को आज जम्मू कश्मीर की एक छोटी पंचायत पल्ली पंचायत के अंदर देश की पहली कार्बन न्यूट्रल पंचायत बनने की तरफ आगे बढ़ रहा है। आज मुझे पल्ली गांव में देश के गांवों के जनप्रतिनिधियों के साथ जुड़ने का भी अवसर मिला। इस बड़ी उपलब्धि और विकास के कामों के लिए जम्मू कश्मीर को बहुत बहुत बधाई।
The Prime Minister also launched the Amrit Sarovar initiative aimed at developing and rejuvenating 75 water bodies in each district of the country.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today expressed satisfaction that the culture of digital payments is growing in India. Addressing the nation in his Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio, Mr. Modi said UPI has rapidly become a part of the country's economy as people are transacting through UPI even in remote villages and small towns.
कहीं भी गए कैश ले जाने का, बैंक जाने का, एटीएम खोजने का झंझट ही खत्म। मोबाइल से ही सारे पेमेंट हो जाते हैं। आपके इन छोटे छोटे ऑनलाइन पेमेंट से देश में कितनी बड़ी डिजिटल इकोनॉमी तैयार हुई है। इस समय हमारे देश में करीब 20,000 करोड़ रुपए के ट्रांजैक्शन हर दिन हो रहे हैं। पिछले मार्च के महीने में तो यूपीआई ट्रांजैक्शन करीब 10 lakh crore रुपए तक पहुंच गया।
He stated that digital transactions worth 20,000 crore rupees are being done in the country every day. In March, UPI transactions reached around 10 lakh crore rupees.
भीम यूपीआई तेजी से हमारी इकोनॉमी और आदतों का हिस्सा बन गया है। अब तो छोटे छोटे शहरों में और ज्यादातर गांवों में भी लोग यूपीआई से ही लेन देन कर रहे हैं। डिजिटल इकोनॉमी से देश में एक कल्चर भी पैदा हो रहा है। गली नुक्कड़ की छोटी छोटी दुकानों में डिजिटल पेमेंट होने से उन्हें ज्यादा से ज्यादा ग्राहकों को सर्विस देना आसान हो गया है। उन्हें अब खुले पैसों की भी दिक्कत नहीं होती। आप भी यूपीआई की सुविधा को रोजमर्रा के जीवन में महसूस करते होंगे।
The Prime Minister pointed out that many new startups related to fintech are also coming up in the country. Mr. Modi gave the example of Sagarika and Preksha, who experimented with cashless day out in Delhi. Both of them used digital payments for their expenses for the entire day. He said the girls were able to pay via online transactions even at roadside stalls. The Prime Minister stated that technology is changing the lives of ordinary people. He said that technology has made lives easier for the young people and enabled them to reach new heights. Mr. Modi said there are many startups and organizations which are doing inspirational work in this direction. He mentioned one such organization, Voice of Specially Abled People, which is promoting new opportunities in the field of assistive technology. Touching the topic of water conservation, the Prime Minister said the country is moving forward with the resolve to conserve water in the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. During the Amrit Mahotsav, 75 Amrit Sarovars will be built in every district of the country.
मेरा आप सभी से आग्रह है, आप अपने इलाके के ऐसे पुराने तालाबों, कुओं और सरोवरों के बारे में जानें। अमृत सरोवर अभियान की वजह से जल संरक्षण के साथ साथ आपके इलाके की पहचान भी बनेगी। जल से जुड़ा हर प्रयास हमारे कल से जुड़ा है। इसमें पूरे समाज की जिम्मेदारी होती है। इसके लिए सदियों से अलग अलग समाज, अलग अलग प्रयास लगातार करते आए हैं।
Mr. Modi said availability or scarcity of water determine the progress and speed of any country. He quoted from the scriptures and said, water is the basis of life of every living being and water is also the biggest resource. The Prime Minister said the country's new Pradhan Mantri Sangrahalaya has generated a lot of curiosity among the people. The Pradhan Mantri Sangrahalaya was dedicated to the nation on the 14th of April, the birth anniversary of Baba Saheb Ambedkar. He mentioned Sarthak from Gurugram, who wrote to him saying that he came across many new and previously unknown facts about the lives of leaders like Lal Bahadur Shastri and Morarji Desai in the museum. The Prime Minister urged people to visit a local museum and share their experience with museum memories.
देश के लिए यह गौरव की बात है कि आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव एक जन आंदोलन का रूप ले रहा है। इतिहास को लेकर लोगों की दिलचस्पी काफी बढ़ रही है और ऐसे में पीएम म्यूजियम युवाओं के लिए भी आकर्षण का केंद्र बन रहा है, जो देश की अनमोल विरासत से उन्हें जोड़ रहा है।
The Prime Minister also quizzed listeners on their general knowledge regarding the country's museums. He asked listeners to share the answers on Namo app or social media with #MuseumQuiz. The Prime Minister also discussed mathematics in this edition of Man Ki Baat. He said people of India have given the most research and contribution in the field of mathematics. He gave the example of the discovery of zero and its importance.
गणित तो ऐसा विषय है जिसे लेकर हम भारतीयों को सबसे ज्यादा सहज होना चाहिए। आखिर गणित को लेकर पूरी दुनिया के लिए सबसे ज्यादा शोध और योगदान भारत के लोगों ने ही तो दिया है। शून्य यानी जीरो की खोज और उसके महत्व के बारे में आपने खूब सुना भी होगा। अक्सर आप ये भी सुनते होंगे कि अगर जीरो की खोज न होती तो शायद हम दुनिया की इतनी वैज्ञानिक प्रगति भी न देख पाते।
Mr. Modi assuaged students who find maths a tough subject, saying mathematics has never been a difficult subject for Indians. He said a big reason for this is Vedic mathematics. The Prime Minister also greeted people in advance for Eid, Akshay Tritiya, birth anniversary of Bhagwan Parshuram and Vaishakh Budh Purnima.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be conferred the first Lata Dinanath Mangeshkar Award this evening. The award ceremony will be held in Mumbai around 5 p.m. This award has been instituted in memory of Bharat Ratna Lata Mangeshkar, who passed away in February this year. The award will be given annually to a person who has made a path-breaking, spectacular and exemplary contribution to the nation and its people. More from our correspondent.
The Master Dinanath Mangeshkar Smriti Pratishthan has said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is an international statesman who has put India on the path of global leadership. Calling Mr. Modi an inspiration, the organization said he is one of the greatest leaders that India has seen in its glorious history. The Pratishthan informed that the award will be given annually to a person who has made a path-breaking, spectacular and exemplary contribution to the nation and its people. Among the other awardees will be Rahul Deshpande, who will receive the award, besides 3 other special awardees, including veteran actress Asha Parekh, actor Jackie Shroff and the Mumbai Dabbawalas, represented by Nutan Tiffin Suppliers. A musical show called Swar Latanjali will also be organized after the award ceremony, featuring singers like Roop Kumar Rathod, Priyanka Barve and Hariharan. Kunal Shinde, AIR News, Mumbai.
The Union Government has set a target to increase the number of Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Kendras PMBJK to 10,000 by March 2024. The Chemical and Fertilizers Ministry said the government has invited applications to open Jan Aushadhi Kendras in 3,579 blocks of 406 districts of 26 states and union territories. It highlighted that under the scheme, 739 districts of the country have been covered and 8,610 stores have been opened till last month. The ministry said about 15,000 crore rupees general public have been saved under the scheme. The ministry added that new applications have been invited to cover 579 blocks of 406 districts. In Assam, the BJP is all set to retain power in the Guwahati Municipal Corporation GMC. The BJP, along with its ally Ahom Gana Parishad, have won 20 seats so far. The BJP got 17 seats and Ahom Gana Parishad won 3 seats. There are a total of 60 seats in GMC and BJP won 3 seats uncontested. Ahom Jatiya Parishad and AAP got 1 seat each. Counting of votes is still on.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that Swamitwa scheme is a new mantra for development and is improving trust in the villages with the help of modern technology. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, "At the core of our good governance efforts in India's villages is to leverage the power of technology for the welfare of people." Swamitwa scheme is transforming the lives in rural India and helping them become Atmanirbhar.
More than 187 crore 67 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. Health Ministry said more than 19 lakh doses were administered in the last 24 hours. During the same period, 2,593 new cases were reported in the country. India's active caseload currently stands at 15,873 and it is at 0.04%.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveils various development projects worth 20,000 crore rupees in Jammu and Kashmir. Says these projects give new impetus to economic growth and job opportunities for youth. Paldi village in Samba district becomes first carbon neutral panchayat in the country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi expresses satisfaction over the growth of digital payments in India. Addressing his Mann Ki Baat program, Prime Minister says UPI rapidly becomes part of the country's economy. Prime Minister emphasizes on water conservation, says availability of or scarcity of water determine the progress and speed of any country. Mr. Modi mentions India is moving forward with resolve to conserve water in Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, informs 75 Amrit Sarovars to be built in every district of the country. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar holds talks with Argentinian counterpart Santiago Cafiero in New Delhi. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin to visit Ukrainian capital Kyiv today. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu to inaugurate Khelo India University Games in Bengaluru this evening. And in IPL cricket, Mumbai Indians to take on Lucknow Super Giants at Mankato Stadium in Mumbai. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
कंपटीशन की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी तो उनके लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पर हम लाए हैं अभ्यास, एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जिसमें आप पूछेंगे सवाल व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल करेंगे abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर और हमारे विशेषज्ञ देंगे इसका जवाब। इस बार का विषय है सोशियोलॉजी। सवाल भेजने की अंतिम तारीख है 27 अप्रैल। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar held a meeting with Foreign Minister of Argentina Santiago Cafiero in New Delhi today. Mr. Cafiero is on his first visit to India. Both ministers discussed expanding bilateral trade and cooperating in agriculture, pharmaceuticals, electronics, e-mobility, defense and atomic energy. In a tweet, Dr. Jaishankar said India will work closely with Argentina in G20 and multilateral forums. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the 7th edition of the Rycena Dialogue tomorrow. President of the European Union, Ursula von der Leyen, will be the chief guest in the dialogue. She arrived in New Delhi last night to attend the event. Several former prime ministers of different countries and other dignitaries will also participate in this virtual event. The 3-day dialogue is based on the theme Terra Nova, Impassioned, Impatient, Imperiled. There are 6 broad thematic pillars of the dialogue, including rethinking democracy, end of multilateralism, water caucuses, achieving green transitions. Rycena dialogue will have around 100 sessions with over 210 speakers from 90 countries.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has announced that U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin will visit Kyiv today. Speaking to a press conference in the capital, Mr. Zelensky said the President of the United States is expected to come and talk to us whenever the security allows him. The White House and State Department, however, declined to comment on it. And now, let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News, Birth of a Nation.
India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
24th April is the death anniversary of the revolutionary freedom fighter Ardhendu Dastidar.
In his early teens, Ardhindu left his family and became an active member of the Revolutionary Party of Chittagong under the able leadership of Master Das Surya Sen. Just a few weeks before the storming of the armory at Chittagong, he got severely burnt due to an accident in manufacturing picric acid powder meant for high explosive bombs.
He had not fully recovered from his injuries when he joined the party that carried out the Chittagong Armory raid on the 18th of April 1930. When the revolutionaries fought the British in Jalalabad Hills on the 22nd of April, he received a deadly wound in his abdomen which rendered him unconscious.
On the next day of the fight, that is, on the 23rd of April, a small group of villagers climbed the top of the hill and found Ardhindu Dastidar in a precarious condition. He was taken to the Chittagong General Hospital.
He refused to tell how he received the wounds. He was as stern and unbending as a rock. Ardhindu struggled with death a few hours more, but finally succumbed to his injuries on the 24th of April 1930. AIR News pays tribute to the brave son of the soil.
झूमे जहर चरण के नीचे मैं उमंग में गाऊं, ओ तान तान फन प्याल की तुझ पर मैं बांसुरी बजाऊं। यह बांसुरी बजी माया के मुकुलितया कुंचन में, यह बांसुरी बजी अविनाशी के संवेश गहन में।
24th April is also the death anniversary of Rashtra Kavi Ramdhari Singh Dinkar. Ramdhari Singh was born in Begusarai district of Bihar. When Dinkar enrolled at Patna College in 1929, he became involved with the Indian freedom movement.
Dinkar was a part of demonstrations against the Simon Commission in Patna. Upon hearing the news of the death of Lala Lajpat Rai due to lathi charge by the British, the youthful mind of Dinkar became increasingly radical. This was also the time when he began composing poems filled with patriotism under the pen name Dinkar.
अस्तित्वों के अनस्तित्व में, महाशांति के तल में, यह बांसुरी बजी शून्यासन की समाधि निश्चल में, ओ कंपहीन तेरे समुद्र में जीवन लहर उठाऊं, ओ तान तान फन प्याल की तुझ पर मैं बांसुरी बजाऊं.
Dinkar wrote the poem Vijay Sandesh in honor of the Sardar Patel-led Bardoli Satyagraha.
To escape the wrath of the government, Dinkar's poems were published for some time under the pseudonym Amitabh. On the 14th of September 1928, his poem on the martyrdom of Jatin Das was published.
अक्षय बट पर बजी बांसुरी गगन मगन लहराया, ओ दल पर विधि को लिए जलधि में नाभि कमल उग आया, ओ जन्मी नव चेतना सिहरने लगे तत्व चल दल से, ओ स्वर काले अवलंब भूमि निकली प्लावन के जल से, अपने आर्द्र बसन की वसुधा को फिर याद दिलाऊं, ओ तान तान फन भ्याल की तुझ पर मैं बांसुरी.
Dinkar initially supported the revolutionary movement during the Indian independence struggle, but later became a Gandhian. Over time, Dinkar became a popular writer whose works resonated with the readers and the freedom struggle. In 1935, a compilation of his poems titled Renuka was published and a copy of it was presented to Mahatma Gandhi.
ओ नीतिकार तुम झूठ नहीं कहते होगे, बेकार मगर पगलों को ज्ञान सिखाना है, मरने का होगा खौफ मौत की छाती में, जिसको अपनी जिंदगी ढूंढने जाना है.
Dinkar's works were not just nationalistic, they were also deeply insightful. In 1952, Ramdhari Singh Dinkar was nominated as a member of Rajya Sabha.
Dinkar won the Sahitya Academy Award in 1959. He was also awarded the Padma Bhushan in 1959. The great poet left for a heavenly abode on the 24th of April 1974. We salute the great nationalist.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Union Minister for Youth Affairs and Sports Anurag Singh Thakur visited the Jain University Global Campus in Bengaluru today and interacted with the players who have arrived to compete in the Khelo India University Games. The Games will be inaugurated by Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today afternoon. The Union Sports Minister Anurag Thakur walked to various sporting arenas and saw the arrangements for the event. The minister said that looking at the sportsmen practicing for the games, he is reminded of his days as a cricketer. He expressed happiness that the infrastructure provided to the sportsmen has improved today as compared to his days as a cricket player. In Santosh Trophy football, Rajasthan will take on West Bengal at Kottapadi Stadium, Mallapuram at 4 p.m. today, while Meghalaya will clash with Punjab at Payannar Stadium at 8 p.m. Earlier, Odisha entered the semi-finals after beating Gujarat 3-2 in the Group B match at the Payannar Stadium in Manjeri, Kerala yesterday. In another match of Group B, Manipur defeated Karnataka 3-0 at the Kottapadi Stadium, Mallapuram to enter the semi-finals.
In IPL cricket, Mumbai Indians will take on Lucknow Super Giants at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai at 7:30 p.m. today. Last night, Sunrisers Hyderabad thrashed Royal Challengers Bangalore by 9 wickets at Brabourne Stadium in Mumbai. Earlier, in another match, Gujarat Titans defeated Kolkata Knight Riders by 8 runs at the D.Y. Patil Stadium in Navi Mumbai. Electing to bat after winning the toss, Gujarat posted 156 for 9 in the stipulated 20 overs. Chasing the target, Kolkata could only make 148 for 8 in 20 overs.
The President of the Board of Control for Cricket in India, BCCI, Saurav Ganguly, has confirmed that the Women's T20 Challenge 2022 will be held at Lucknow's Ekana Stadium between May 24 and 28. The scheduling decision was made following an Apex Council meeting of the BCCI yesterday. The tournament will remain a 3-team affair with Supernovas, Trailblazers and Velocity participating. Supernovas have won the title twice, while IPL Trailblazers are the defending champions. The other side, IPL Velocity, was the runner-up in 2019. Women's T20 Challenge has been an annual tournament which began in 2018 but was not held in 2021 due to COVID-19 restrictions. Now let us take a look at the weather update for the day. The national capital Delhi is likely to have a strong surface winds during the daytime. Mumbai is expected to have mainly clear sky. Chennai is likely to have a partly cloudy sky. Kolkata is likely to have a mainly clear sky. Srinagar is likely to have partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Jammu is expected to have mainly clear sky. Leh is likely to have partly cloudy sky. Gilgit is expected to have mainly clear sky. Muzaffarabad is expected to have mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards the afternoon or evening. Visakhapatnam and Hyderabad are expected to have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Bengaluru is likely to have mist. Thiruvananthapuram is expected to have partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. Puducherry is likely to have partly cloudy sky.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveils various development projects worth 20,000 crore rupees in Jammu and Kashmir. Says these projects give new impetus to economic growth and job opportunities for the youth. Palli village in Samba district becomes first carbon neutral panchayat in the country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi expresses satisfaction over the growth of digital payments in India. Addressing his Mann Ki Baat program, Prime Minister says UPI rapidly becomes part of the country's economy. Prime Minister emphasizes on water conservation, says availability or scarcity of water determines the progress and speed of any country. Mr. Modi mentions India's moving forward with resolve to conserve water in Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Informs 75 Amrit Sarovars to be built in every district of the country. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar holds talks with his Argentinian counterpart Santiago Cafiero in New Delhi. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin to visit Ukrainian capital Kyiv today. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu to inaugurate Khelo India University Games in Bengaluru this evening. And in IPL cricket, Mumbai Indians to take on Lucknow Super Giants at Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. And with that, we end the midday news.